What's up, everybody? This is Ed. We're back with another video. Anyway, this is going to be like a maybe 10-minute video. It's going to be a relatively quick one because I'm waiting for somebody. So if it abruptly gets cut off, it is what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to put this out here. So I listened to a whole thing with BGS's video, and I was jumping in bits and pieces of Bernard Riley's stream, on the George Floyd situation or the news situation. And the rant that he gave is something that's been kind of a long time coming because it's been something that's been going back and forth. And, I've technically been both minds about it. But one of the things that kills me with a lot of black folks, black men, is moderation is always great because new information, a lot of times when we talk about what we talk about, new information is always given. Dynamics of things is always changed. And a lot of times people get comfortable in their own belief systems where they leave no room for interpretation to anything. And if new evidence, now the problem is the evidence that's presented has to rise to the level of reinterpretation of things, and most of the time it doesn't. But there's that. I do recommend y'all listen to Bernard Riley's stream as far as the one BGS was on with Mr. Fantastic and stuff like that. I do recommend y'all listen to that. But this is what I'm going to say. What I want for the dudes like Stream Team, one thing that O'Shea kind of alludes to, and I agree with, is it's nothing that anybody that identifies as Stream Team, and this is not me saying I've already said I'm a 2.0 dude, but I'm kind of in between, kind of like 2.5. But so again, moderation, but this is like a legit criticism. There's nothing y'all are saying that hasn't been said. Just like there's really nothing that 2.0 has ever said that hasn't been written, right? In a book. And BGS has shown that. There's nothing that y'all are saying that hasn't been already said on YouTube as far as in this space. A lot of times y'all think that y'all are the first folks to say stuff, and the stuff is new. It's not. It's not even a Tariq Nasheed situation where Tariq Nasheed was just bringing like two groups of black folks together, or bringing a group of black folks that would not be seen by another group, so at least he could say he's aggregating something. And this is not meant to be a diss. And really, this is not I'm not going to talk about what was said on the panel as much as I'm going to talk about what I've heard way before, Stream Team. Because I want it to be understood that this is not new, and, it is what it is. I've told this story once before. Shout out to Sub-Zero3639. This is one of his boys. I forget what his name is, Black and Serve something. I forget his name. But the few times I've ever apologized for not so much what I said, but how I said it was one of these moments. Because I'm going to be real with you. The reason why I apologize about that is because if he would have said that to my face, I would have fucking broke his nose. Like, that's how angry that's how angry I was with him saying that. And I'm more on the square side of the game. I'm more of a square dude with street tendencies. And when I say street tendencies, I mean I can navigate through the hood because I live there. But I'm more of a square dude. Like, if you look at actually how I live my life, I don't really judge. And another thing too is one of the reasons I'm able to navigate through the hood is because I don't judge hood shit in the same way, like turn my nose up to it in the same way that I think a lot of dudes that say some of the shit that they say do. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to kind of speak. It's kind of like the light side of force or dark side of force, where I'm more like Mace Windu, where I can play in it and not get corrupted by it to a certain extent. Because I have a certain understanding of it and understand why it's there. Anything you ever hear me say as far as criticism is more akin to someone's own personal outcomes. And it's not even so much of me telling somebody from a moral standpoint what they should do or shouldn't do. It's more laying out, okay, what it is that you want, and is what you're doing really akin to getting you there. And that's whatever it is you want. Because a lot of people, I'm more of an enemy on people operating on autopilot than anything else. So, back to the story. So I was on Sub-Zero3639's, right? And we'll say he's to the right of me on these things, but he understands it too. And then he had a dude on here, I forget his name, but it's somebody he's dealt with a long time, Dave Akin a long time. And he said some off the wall shit. He said that black people in Zimbabwe, it was specific too. Black people in Zimbabwe didn't even have the wheel until the white man came. Now, if you know anything about Zimbabwe's history, in which I hadn't known that at the time, and to be honest with you, once I learned more about it, because I needed to, like, even though I snapped his head off instinctively, I wanted to, obviously prove that I was right, because if I wasn't, then I would have had to apologize. And it actually proved that I actually had every right to be as mad as I was, which was lucky, because this is one of the few times I actually stepped in it of something I honestly wasn't 100% sure about. And it was proved. I've actually uncovered the fact that not only is what he said not false, is it white people went out of their way to actually make it seem like Zimbabweans were inferior, when actually white folks were actually very impressed with some of the things that the Zimbabweans were able to do. And they went out of their way to try to create this facade that they didn't create stuff that they created. Zimbabwe is a country that's right above South Africa, for those of y'all that might not know. In fact, my boss is Zimbabwean, actually, now that I think about it. So he said until the white man came, these motherfuckers haven't invented the wheel. And if you actually understand what that means, when that's said, that means that is like saying that the level of primitiveness that you're accusing a group to be. I mean, I don't even know why certain black people even say that they're black anymore, because you wouldn't even hear immigrants say some shit like that. And that's the one thing I want to put out here too. Immigrants say a lot of slick shit. The thing that gets on my nerves about black immigrants is a lot of what they say is based on ignorance and based on what the white person told them. The same people that we sit there and argue with their stuff, they'll sit there and have a whole bunch of excuses. But with us, it's legit. And I know there's a lot of jealousy there in a lot of ways that they don't want to really be honest about. And so it's more annoying than anything. But one thing too is, the one thing about ADOS is understand that our group is going to get held accountable more than anybody else. So when I think of this, some of y'all call yourselves ADOS, which ADOS is basically, it's not something you can choose to be. You either are or you aren't. But you say some shit that even like non-white folks won't even really think. And it's kind of like saying, well, because I'm a nigga, I can say nigga. Y'all are more comfortable with that. And sometimes y'all don't even check yourselves. And that stuff reminds me of when he said that. Now, I tore his head off, and I'm going to be honest with you. The type of anger that I had toward, he didn't really realize it. And this is one of the main reasons I apologize about how I said it. Because I would have fucked that nigga up. If he would have been in my presence and said some shit like that, and I am a extremely under control type of person. I never really want to go at violence, ever. Not because I can't do it, but because I don't believe you can really walk yourself back putting your hands on folks. That's my personal belief system. You really can't. Maybe family, but I've never even really legit put my hands on my brothers, ever. There's a kind of ceasefire with that, and not because I can't. I mean, especially in clear situations. I'm 10 years over my brother. So there's been situations where I was clearly bigger and a lot stronger than him. Even now, I'm still stronger than them. My middle brother is up for grabs, but definitely my younger brother. Because he does that shipping and receiving shit all day, every day. But I'm not that type of person. But that situation, like, it's on Sub-Zero. I think it might be on Sub-Zero stuff. I basically blasted his head off. This is probably the angriest anybody has ever seen me get on YouTube. And real talk, I would have fucked him up. I know I would have, because like I know how mad I was. And I never said that. This is the first time I'm ever really saying that. And that's really why I apologize. Because he made me that angry when he said that. And it wasn't that he said it. It was that he believed it. He believed it. Something that I know he couldn't have researched that enough. Especially when I started to really dig into it. And I've looked at it with multiple sources and confirmed it with multiple people that's smarter on that topic than me to make absolutely sure I was right. And that's how you got a lot of a lot of that mentality shows up in these cop kill situations. It really does. And this is not a difference of opinion. A lot of y'all got to get y'all ass out of y'all a lot of where y'all at and start looking at shit from a different perspective. This is why, you know, every once in a while I'll talk about the Irish Republican Army. I will talk about certain situations where if you put the same group in a situation that may be close to similar to ours, how do they respond? And they respond the same exact way. In fact, black people have honestly been actually very, very muted compared to how other groups typically respond to even 10% of what we've had to deal with. And I want to get to the point. Point is, you have a lot of and BGS was right about the self-hatred piece. He's absolutely right. And this even, and I'm not trying to bring, I'm not even going to say his name because I don't want him to think I'm trying to put him in this because I don't care. But I'm going to say this, and y'all go get mad. So if y'all take offense, yeah, I'm talking to you. If you think I'm talking to you after I say this, yeah, I am. So get mad. Any of y'all follow Thomas Sowell, usually that's a dead giveaway that y'all got this mentality. Any of y'all that follow Thomas Sowell or y'all like Thomas Sowell, usually it's a dead giveaway. I'm going to say it again, any of y'all that really like Tommy Soto, it's a mixed bag, but Thomas Sowell is a more dead giveaway. Tommy Soto is more of a mixed bag because Tommy has a broad folks that fuck with him. But Thomas Sowell, if I hear you spouting Thomas Sowell, and I got people I fuck with that spout that, then usually that's a dead giveaway. If y'all you hear me say black redneck every once in a while, but if y'all, because what y'all are doing is trying to put class in a place where class doesn't really belong. And this is not me apologizing for anything, because the reality is Darwinism takes care of folks that are in the hood, whether you're in the hood, because here's the thing that people never talk about. You have the in the hood piece, but you also have the black folks. And this is why I'm going to bring up Sub-Zero's name. And I'm not talking about Sub-Zero. He was, that story happened. But Sub-Zero talks about this too. When I've had conversations with him, because he has a son, about where to put his kids, how he's very aware of if he puts his kids around white folks, what his son may end up being attracted to. And most black folks don't think that far ahead. And that's very smart that he did. And obviously the woman, his mother, his kids is cooperative with that. They're in conversation with that. And you never look at the fact that when folks, you can get away. There's ways to get away from the hood. It ain't either be around white folks or get away from the hood. That's not a binary choice. And folks will be cool with them being a shout out to Mr. Research, because he's the only one that really brought this up. That he will folks will be willing to be absorbed by other people. And it's not that they make the decision that they're cool with that. Shout out to Super Trees and them. It's that they actually park it in the back of their head. I can respect somebody that they're standing on their square and saying, this is how I want to design my life, period. And I've thought it out. Not necessarily they got to tell me, but you can tell they have. They put thought versus people that they put it in the back of their mind because they're too much cowardly to actually address it in the forefront of their mind. And you got and so what happens is when those feelings are buried, what happens is it manifests in these like a hyper assimilationist views. It manifests that you were conquered, so you deserve to be who you are. You were, the white man won. They're doing what they're supposed to do, which the reality is this isn't the United States of white supremacy. This is the United States of America, aka we are American citizens. So it doesn't matter. And and a lot of stuff that I say is, and this is where BGS was talking about, this is the system that they set up based on how it's supposed to run based on their law, which is one of the main things that keeps black folks from just straight up going straight, Hezbollah on shit. Because remember, white folks need their comfort too. And nobody wants, people like to talk about the race war shit. Nobody really wants that. Majority of people really don't want that. They don't. Because understand, especially now, it ain't gonna just be black folks to get fucked up. There's a lot of groups that are invested that would get effed up in a situation like that. A lot of groups to be like, okay, since we doing it, let's get you, get you, get you. Remember, when the Jews went through what they went through in Nazi Germany, it wasn't just them that got hemmed up. They hemmed up a lot of other folks that didn't think they would get hemmed up. So my thing is, when I hear a lot of brothers talk and they say certain things, they think because they think they're talking about a certain particular group. Understand something. I don't care if you're in the military. I don't care if you're in a cop. I don't care who you think you are. When you're wearing street clothes, for the most part, you the same. Now, Glendon will talk about having money and having power, and that helps. It does, because understand it is a difference between black people that are famous and black people in a situation like that, and black people that are more like behind the scenes but got money. But understand, even in their own field, even if they're behind the scenes, they still deal with it to a certain extent. It's just that they're not dealing with it as much. So there is something to, but that is not an absolute. And people like to make that an absolute. And Glendon doesn't make that an absolute. But a lot of folks like to make certain things absolutes. And then also you got to understand that class and money are two different things. If you're somebody, you still of a lower class just because you hood rich, then you're going to be, there's a lot of dynamics with that. And even Bill Cosby will tell you, you're never in the safe zone, especially if you're a black man, but even a woman, you're never in what I call the absolute safe zone. Never. Because that's not how America is built. So a lot of y'all need to check some of these. Like, even when people talk about, oh man, well, you promoted Trump. I don't promote Trump because I like Trump. I promote Trump because Trump is a means to an end. And it's not so much I'm promoting Trump, it's more so I'm promoting the alternative. And people got to be very much aware of what you're voting for. Don't vote against somebody, vote for something. And that require or don't vote. And that's a vote. That a vote of no confidence is a vote. So if you're willing, I'd rather black men stop paying attention to voting and start paying more attention to putting money by either raising money for people or actually donate, because you don't have to donate. You could point people to where people are that have the money. People don't always give people money. They help raise money, and you can do that virtually. I'd rather y'all raise money for people like Dr. Tommy Curry. Raise money for your state senators, the state representatives that are actually trying to put laws on the books or at least get laws introduced. That's what I'd rather black people start doing, black men in particular, than really focusing on, are you going to vote for Trump or not vote for Trump? Because truth be told, yes, if enough black men stop voting, Trump could win, but we don't have that kind of power to make that and break that. We just can use this as an opportunity to let people know that's how tired of the status quo where we are, that we will basically sink. If we can't win, nobody can win. And that's the mentality that we have, to let them know that it may not be this election, but eventually, stuff is going to happen to where it is going to start, like, because the election takes cycles. And, for 3 election cycles is 12 years. Saying this is it's headed. So I just wanted to put that out there. I may do a little bit more of a longer video about this, maybe a stream. I want to go over exactly what was said, but I wanted it's always been folks that say crazy stuff, and it's and these would be something to say. Like, these Negroes love being contrarian. They love thinking that what they saying is so revolutionary, when in actuality, a lot of this stuff, you remember, I always talk about the women saying that a lot of stuff they doing is sexual politicking. Well, this is sexual politicking too. What a lot of y'all don't understand is when y'all do this is no different than a black woman calling the cops on a white man. Because at the end of the day, what you all are doing is you all are supporting the ideology of using the white man to basically destroy another group of black men. Whether you all think you're doing that or not, that's what you're doing.
Well, that's good.
So, and y'all are trying to sell, and that's where these ideas of only the strong survive, these ultra Darwinistic views come from. That's where that shit comes from. And what y'all don't understand is you all are like black women. You all are allowing yourselves to be conduits to basically, in this way of being used, to basically, it's no different than what sisters do. It's actually a little bit more egregious, to be honest with you. Because at least with women, you could chalk that up to female nature. We could charge it to that. And in that instance, from a universal standpoint, we understand why they do what they do. But at the end of the day, they deal with their own outcomes, which is they are losing their baseline foundation, and the very thing that they think they can run away to, they're never gonna get because they have to build it themselves or actually support it themselves. Same thing y'all are doing. And I've always had you know, I'm the one who came with classic black ministry. I've always been able to have those arguments from a perspective of, oh well, street dudes just control all delete and just didn't exist. I don't have to think that way, because at the end of the day, it's beyond that. A lot of the environment and stuff is what drives a lot of this. It's like an algorithm. And if you change the algorithm, a lot of that stuff will melt away anyway. And that goes both ways. If black women stop acting the way they act, that's why I always focus on the gynocracy more, because a lot of that is the algorithm that drives a lot of that shit both ways. So anyway, well, let me do this because I'm just walking. So give me a second. I'll read y'all chats. I'll mute for a second. Appreciate the super chat, Dollar Washer. No, don't take it like that. But y'all, like, I may go dig in the archives and I'll find it. It'll take me a second, 'cause I want y'all to know what was said, just so I can show you how serious I am when I say that. All right, Daniel, we may have to do a stream, and then you kind of, because if you're there in the moment, you can kind of give me some insight. So if I do a stream later on, be looking out for that. Put your email in the chat, or your email in the description at the end of this video. All right, let's go through this. It ain't about me being like, dude. It ain't. I'm not. I don't do that. Oh, gangster. I hear what you're saying. You joking, tongue in cheek, but it ain't about quote unquote being quote unquote gangster at all. Like that shit really made me mad. And see, I like, cause I don't want to go find a clip because it's very hard to find it to really show you like how mad I was. Yeah, it's not even. It's not a lot y'all talk. I get it, but it's not. It's not another side. It was Like legit, like dude legit believe that shit. And I don't even know why you at that point, if you really own that type of stuff, you might just go ahead and just go ahead and just end it. Go ahead and just get you a non-black person and just call it a day. Well, CD, the thing about it is, it ain't about me often defending folks. I don't believe in just having these like back and forth spats over and over and over again for the sake. So, I mean, I've heard these things. I've been in these conversations and checked a lot of that stuff. David Monroe is one of the main ones, but there's degrees to it. So it's not about, oh, defending and not defending something. It just is what it is. You're right. There are a lot of them are. I mean, comparatively speaking, yeah, you're right. They are. I'm not gonna say, yeah, they're not high ranking. A lot of it is people having opinions, and the way they shoot these opinions, it's like they shoot them out like real. Let's see, a lot. I won't go as far as to say it's white male worship. It's a difference between self hatred. It's a difference between self hatred and white male worship. It's a difference. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. It's not. It's not the same thing. Yeah, I mean, like you, like metal, made by Ruben. Like if you like, and I mean, I instantly caught that when he said it, and then I asked him to repeat it because I wanted to be very clear on what he was saying, and then he went deeper into it, and I'm like, and then like I rarely just lose it like that. Like I can count, like maybe I can count. I still got two more times on my finger that I could count on one of my hands where I've actually just lost it on anybody like that, and I lost it and then probably what didn't help was Sub Zero. It ain't like Sub Zero checked him. Yeah, so it wasn't like I got to bring up the conversation because it was like 3 years ago now, maybe longer actually. It was a while ago. CD, we don't enable these guys, and understand that even though there's certain things that I say, there's still disagreements, but there's level like for instance, there's levels of different agreements. I'm not because once I start putting out names, now all of a sudden I'm gonna have to start. Y'all, I'm talking about that damn panel, and I'm giving context to it from a much more longer period of time in the manosphere. All right, no, I'm just sitting here looking at TVs, man. 65 inch. But anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about. I need to get AO. Press one. That if I started doing live streams on my Instagram, press one if y'all would show up. Okay, as far as the Meg the Stallion video, I haven't, but I've seen a little bit of it. Check out Black Ram 313. He did like a breakdown of it, which is actually not like, bashing either. Not that Black Ram bashes. He just, he dissects. But check that out. He did one specifically on that video. I mean, at the end of the day, there's two minds of like when it comes to ratchet. There's two minds on that stuff. But anyway, I did see the Tommy Lauren video. I saw that on Kevin's stuff. And Tommy, the thing that kills me about Tommy Lauren is the reality is Kevin actually assessed her. She's a 6. She's a 6 that can upgrade into an 8 when she dolls herself up. But I've been to these country clubs with these white boys, and I've seen women that look way better than her in tears with their mascara because these white boys don't give a fuck. These Donald, like Eric Trump types, they don't care. When they know they got access to that money and that trust fund money, they don't care. They just don't. And I've seen women way better looking than Tommy Lauren. I'm talking about white women. They've been brought to their knees. Remember, I did the Uber thing, and that was one of the things that I picked folks up was in that car. And I've seen it in many iterations with couples and with them. And I remember going to the Glenwood Country Club. So yeah, legit. So Tommy Lauren, she, and then you got to understand too that when she take up past it, she's a white girl. I mean, she's a little bit above average of like what an attractive white chick is. And that's why she tries to lean on accomplishments. But I'll say this, the biggest thing that I got for her is value, which that's the closest thing to a black chick I've ever heard her say, value. So the conversation we really got to have is, okay, if you want to talk about value, well, the question is, do you know what men value, the men you want? We're only talking about the men you want. Like if you create an avatar of your perfect man, perfect white man or whatever, which probably that's what it'll be, although Tommy had dated brothers, and that's really probably what's tagging her, to be honest with you. What? Because he's in a world where them dudes are not tolerant. They're not marrying that. I'm sorry, they're just not. And if you're going to play that game, you got to stay on that lane because they talk. And that's one thing they code up around. But value. So what it is that guys, high value men value. And then are you in alignment with that? Period. Your job, your career, like the stuff that she was talking about her career, that has to do with her clout. But her clout is really akin to her network, which the guys that she's dealing with has access to the same guys. That's the thing. The guys that she's dealing with has access to the same guys that these other dudes would network with. And these are dudes that have to bring something to the table that these other dudes value. So that eliminates that value part from a networking standpoint. If you talk about a look standpoint, well, if this is a guy that she sees a high value man, then and women date up, then that means those dudes have access to equal or greater than women like her. And she's just a carbon copy white chick from Nashville. Upper class, that's it. So if you're somebody like Jay, like honestly, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real, the type of guy that she's probably dealing with is a guy like Jay Cutler. If you're gonna talk about the upper echelon to the guy, and Tommy Lauren might be the type of chick that Jay Cutler should have got with rather than going below the bottom with a chick that didn't come from a strong background. And Nashville is built, not Biltmore, but Vanderbilt. I mean, it don't always wind up like that. And then you got to understand that Jay Cutler is older, so they age. You get what I'm saying? But the thing about Jay Cutler is, but the thing about Tommy is, Tommy already had that dude. She gave him away. And so she always has these nice things to say about the guys that she's dealt with. This is how you know that they made her say it. It's like you have all these nice things to say about these guys, yet either it's you, either you're the problem or they're the problem. Technically, you're the problem because you're the common denominator, and you're kind of admitting it. Even you're taking it back. So you got to understand the difference between that power dynamic and stuff like that. And what people don't want to say is she basically took the monkey branch to a better dude, and then she fell because that dude moved the branch, and so now she has to save face, but she can't. So now she just had this, like, really, she had a moment where she just was getting stuff off of how she really felt. And, unlike, brothers, which you got a lot of other brothers, they don't hold the line on that. Um, you know, they check that. So that's as far as her. And it is what it is. She's 28. Understand that the age when it comes to white women, once you start getting 30, once you're at her level, you got to understand, we're talking about the NBA. We're talking about professional sports. We're not talking about like amateur radio. We're talking about the best of the best. Once you start playing in that field, the rules are different and nobody cares because even other women agree to those rules. And they will use those rules against you. So she's 28. Once she gets to 30, that 3-0 is not a good look for somebody like her because she's really just known for being a face. She talks about her being a go-getter, but the reality is everything she has is based on how she looks. She talks about Tatiana's, but the truth is Tommy's no different than a Tatiana. She just it's just a Tatiana with white privilege, basically Tatiana cake with white privilege frosting. That's it. Fox hired her because she could. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this vulgar, but it needs to be said. Fox hired her because she made those old white men's dicks hard that watched Fox News. That's it. A lot of their main audience, and obviously a lot of business audience and stuff like that, they look at Fox. I get all that. But that's the reason why they hired her. If she didn't look the way she did, nobody would care. Period. Nothing that comes out of her mouth matters. Meghan McCain has a lot more insightful shit to say than Tommy Warren. So she talks about how smart she is. I mean, Meghan McCain, there's a lot of women like that.
Here, she said we
Yeah, so that's really what that is. And I don't know, maybe somebody told her that and she got mad. But truth be told, I'm out here like in Target randomly. This is what happens when you move. They got like a 65-inch TV for a 65-inch TV for like $600, $500, $469 at Target. So whatever. But anyway, like I said, I don't know if somebody told her that and she got mad, but and I'm not trying to minimize her. I'm really not. I'm just saying you talk about value value, but that's what people value from you. People don't value, like, all that other stuff is like bonus, but that's really adult stuff. But what really gets you seen is your looks. And when that loses, people aren't going to hear that no more. Because it's not, because I'm like, you're not a Katie Couric. You're not a reporter. Because it's different. There is an anchor, not an anchor woman, but there's like a side anchor woman. You know what I'm talking about? Women at their face and they're just they spit out what they're told. I mean, they have a teleprompter and they're just mouthpieces. And I'm not trying to, minimize that. I'm just saying that's what it is because your job, the Latin community does that all the time, where they have that with their news because that gets you watching. So it's not like it's just us that does it. That's what she does. She's not a reporter. She's not a journalist. Like she's not a woman I have like respect for their journalism skills in sports. Sarah Spain, and Sarah Spain is not ugly, but she's a plus size woman. But I can see her being married to somebody within her level. Um, you know, not no ultra rich person, but I can see her getting a doctor or something like that. But Sarah Spain, or like Hannah Storm, she's not that. She's not a journalist. She's a mouthpiece, and her opinion, the only reason why they give her opinion is because they say, okay, she can represent the younger people and bring in the younger generation. But it's not like, no, without her looks, they don't care about anything else. And if that was true, then she'd be able to do podcasts, she'd be able to do stuff on her own. I mean, Tommy Lauren, like when you look at the Fox News following that she has, like even with young people, like the young conservative stuff, Tommy Lauren, 3 million she should have more than that. Especially when you look at her access to white folks, when you look at the type of access she can have to people like Anthony Brown Lowe. I mean, she should have a lot more money than that, like real talk. She should have a whole network. But no, but at the end of the day, and she needs to get her money while she can get it, because the reality is once she hits that, really 28 is a bad number. That danger zone, if you playing with elite people, yeah, he ain't wrong about that danger zone. Because the thing is, a high value man does not want to marry a female that's 30. Let's say you're 36, 37. A high value man does not want to marry really a 30-year-old. And then it's like you automatically on the decline. It's like you marrying, it's like, that's how they think. No, Fantastic is not a bum. So let me make that very clear. And the only thing me and Fantastic, quite frankly, me and Ramil disagree on is really this type of stuff. That's the main thing. But he ain't said no, the wheel. I said that wheel story because I want y'all to know that's what my baseline is. That's like the worst thing I probably ever heard. To give y'all more context to what he said. Yeah, y'all could be in the chat while y'all going in a little bit. See what y'all talking about. No, it's no audio on purpose because I'm doing something. I don't want y'all in my business like that, like that. Yeah, but CD, understand something that if I'm gonna argue with somebody about something, it's not gonna be some like people gonna have their opinions. People gonna have their opinions and understand that people gonna super chat who they gonna super chat. So this thing about we enable people, like I don't enable none of this garbage. I go at it every time I get the opportunity. So I don't know what you're talking about when you keep on wanting to say we enable stuff. Just like how BGS don't enable it. What's up, XRS? You're just hanging out right now. I'm stealing. Oh, TVs. I mean, these dudes understand that these dudes can have those opinions, but at the end of the day, what you have to understand is part of those opinions is really what promotes the gynocracy too. She did no. It's rumored, and it was also a dude that she was dating, and then like it came out. Some black conservative. But yeah, man. Yeah, what's up, Don Calypso? But yeah, man, like that just is what it is with her, and people like to act like, and she has to know that she can't be so deluded that she doesn't understand that. So when she sits there and tries to have this game, because that's the thing, white men will remind you what your place is. They will remind you every once in a while. No, I mean, here's my thing. I'm not trying to look. I'm saying right now, I would love to have a stream, a old classic BGS. We can't do 8 hours, but 3, 4 hour stream. We bring all these dudes together. They be having these opinions, especially with the new generation, and then we really have at it. Angry Man, me, Charles, all of it. We do an old classic stream like that. Hell, StreamYard allow it for 10 people now. I think StreamYard made it so you can do 10 people even on the basic thing, which I'm glad I didn't upgrade. I just got that email. So we'll talk more about it. Appreciate that, Lavelle. Anyway, I hate these fucking masks. I'll get back to y'all. But with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.